everybody, and welcome to Thruxton for round number 8 of season 2 here in the Renault Clio League. Right, on to the lap. Jared Swain comes across the timing line. This is turn 1. It's a right-hander. You can get up that curbing at the inside. We can see some side-by-side running through there. That will be for sure. Up towards the braking zone of turn 3. It's the one of 2 braking zones on this circuit. No clipping the curb pivot from Swain on the right-hand side. He clips it on the left. Gets off the throttle just in a moment on the exit of turn 4. Back on the throttle. And now you are full throttle. You're flat out on the 724. Through the left-hand side. Constantly flat out through there. Lift off ever so slightly through this right-hander. No use of brakes. Swain does push it a bit wide though. You heard he had to come off the throttle again mid-corner. That's going to slow this lap down because you're not going to have the full run. He was off the throttle a little bit, but I would say you could do that corner flat out in these Clios. Up towards my most hated corner, the most challenging corner, and only the second braking zone on the circuit. Look at the wheel. Corrections all the way through. Trying not to lock up. Slides it. He gets a slower chicane, a bit of a wobble, but he comes out of it. That is what I mean. It is a difficult corner. Vukovic will start ahead of Harry Fox in this one. It'll be Jabrat just behind, ahead of Cridland, Gwilym and Bradbury. Malone and Cook round out the top 8. And then Hagland will start the front of the Division 2 field ahead of Zach Gould, Jürgen Nagel and Joshua Edwards. Timothy Rosenfeld, without a lap time, will start at the back of heat race number 1. We are green and we are away here at Thruxton. Gould gets a slow start off the line at the back there. It was Edwards trying to make a way through. No, it looked like it was possible. Yeah, it was Edwards trying to make his way through there at the back. Right, we continue on through. It's a mix of cars up towards turn number 3. Side by side for second. Fox and Jabrat right now. Jabrat's got the inside on Fox. Continues to be side by side behind as well. Anders Hagland side by side with Jürgen Nagel. That's for the front of the D2 field right now. And it looks like the D2 field, apart from Timothy Rosenfeld, remains at the back of this field. Timothy Rosenfeld, though, takes out Joshua Edwards as he came onto shot there. Rosenfeld spinning Edwards to the infield there. Rosenfeld has not had the weekend that he would have hoped for. Continuing to fight out in the middle of this field right now as they fly past the cameras. This gaggle in the middle. Gwilym, Malone and Bradbury. They settle themselves down. Cook's just behind, so is the lead in the D2 of Hagland and Nagel. Off the circuit was Matt Gwilym. He returns back to the circuit, but here comes Matt Malone now as they head up towards the chicane for the first time. They keep themselves clean. That's Conrad Bradbury. New livery this week by the looks of it. Malone slightly off in the final chicane. And he pulls to the side. That is a slowdown from Matt Malone, and it looks like a big one. He's had to just give up a lot of positions, almost the entire field worth of positions there as we remain side by side as we head up towards turn 3 again. Gould sliding around the background. He holds third in class right now. Only 4 D2 drivers in this race. We're going to see most of them take part in Heat 2. Perfect lines, perfect speed, contact. Nagel and Malone. Around goes Malone. And that's going to give Gould second in class. Fox is in a fight with Hurd. And Hurd can take the win in Heat Race 2. Fox needs to take the win here to get maximum points at offer. Up towards the chicane. Vukovic goes defensive. Fox on the outside. Different racing lines. How's it going to play out? Little bit of tyre smoke. But they all settle themselves down and they go through without issues, without slowdowns, and across the line on to lap number 5 out of 8 here. Around there, it looks like quite simply as well. This is a fight for overall position. A great alternate line there from Matt Gwellim. In fact, Hagland just backs out of it. Different divisions, and he just knew straight away. Through the final chicane comes Milan Vukovic. Fox had a chance earlier in the race. He couldn't quite make it, but Vukovic wins. It was Vukovic who wins that one ahead of Harry Fox. Cedric Gabrat went a lot more clean on this race than we saw in Monza, and he had a nice result to bring home in third. Matty Cridland took fourth and Conrad Bradbury in fifth. John Cook then took sixth position ahead of Matt Gwilym, who took seventh in the end. And Timothy Rosenfeld took eighth in class, ninth overall. Anders Hagland won the Division 2 field. Zach Gould took 10th overall and second in class. Matt Malone came last in the Division 1 field, and it was Joshua Edwards who took the final podium spot, with Jürgen Nagel visiting pit lane at the very end of the race for a fuel issue. Okay, it's going to be Stephen Hurd who is going to start from pole position ahead of Thomas Batchelor. Matt Neal will start from the front of the Division 2 field here ahead of Richard Edgar. We'll then see Mark Codd and Ian Lane behind. Then we'll see Downey, Swain, McIntyre, Lloyd, Symes, Ayala and Henriquez as we get ready to go green. We are green here in heat race 2, and that is somebody not getting off the line at the very back. It's Sean Sims not getting off the line in the D1 field at the back. He's got a slow getaway. No, Sean Sims he did get a slow getaway, but it was actually Luis Henriquez who got an even slower getaway there and is all the way at the back of this field right now. The front of the field remains side by side for third. It looks like as they go side by side, that is Neal and Codd, two different divisions there. But it is Matt Neal who comes out on top. He leads the D2 field. He's now third overall as we come through onto the just flat out section of the race course. Just a little bit of a lift through this right-hander. That was Jared Swain touching the grass. You don't want to do that here at Thruxton because it can just send you around. The speed that you gather. And that was the leader, Hurd, running onto the grass, and that was even more so. Riley Downey, championship contender onto the grass, ahead of Jared Swain. Swain would have seen that, and he knows he can now pressure Riley Downey into the chicane. They're side by side. Swain takes the position ahead of Downey. Downey slides, and that's surely going to be a slowdown. He is down pit lane. This is Jared Swain. He's got Batchelor just behind. Batchelor looks to the outside. Behind that, we've got the fight for Riley Downey and Edgar. That's for class position. Downey gets that move past Edgar, slides it through the chicane, but he does keep the position there. Batchelor once again up the inside of Swain. That's for overall position, but not class position. So Swain holds on to second in class ahead of Downey now. Batchelor goes defensive. Swain on the outside. No tyre smoke. They both run smoothly. Did Batchelor cut that corner? Yes, he did. He cut the inside of the penultimate corner, the left-hander, before they cut back across. He has to give that position up to Swain. And a slide into the chicane for him there. Anymore. He only needs to get past Batchelor and he will take a podium. He pushes it even harder than last lap onto the grass. Here comes Joshua Lloyd. Lloyd's going to have the speed because he stayed on the circuit. Mark Codd holds second in class right now, as does Jared Swain. Downey's not going to be able to close up to Swain, that's for sure, but this is side by side now. Edgar and Batchelor, not for class position, for overall position. Through goes Batchelor. Edgar backs out of it. One. Looks like he might be going for the speed on the exits here. Or is Swain going to go for the overtake to try and get the position for Feature Race 1's grid? That's what he goes for. Swain moves into third overall. Is he going to carry enough speed to get past Neil? Is Neil going to possibly make a mistake? And he comes across the line, headlights flashing for the win. Neil holds on to win Division 2, and Cod pushes to try and take back third overall at the line. He can't do it. It was Stephen Hurd who won that one in a dominant fashion over Matt Neal. Jared Swain took third overall and second in class, and Mark Cod took second in Division 1. Riley Towney was the final podium sitter for Division 2, and Thomas Batchelor was the final podium sitter for Division 1. Then behind was Richard Edgar. Following him was Peter McIntyre, Joshua Lloyd and Ian Lane. Sean Sims, Edward Ayala, and then Luis Enriquez at the back, out of the race. It's Vukovic out front ahead of Hurd. Fox will start alongside Matt Neal, followed by Jabrat and Swain. We'll then see Cridland, Cod, Bradbury and Downey rounding out your top 10. Behind that will be Cook and Batchelor. Gwilym will start in 13th ahead of Edgar and Hagland. McIntyre, Rosenfield, Lloyd, Gould and Lane will round out your top 20. It will then be Matt Malone ahead of Sean Sims. It would be Edwards, followed by Ayala. And at the back of the field will be Jürgen Nagel and Luis Enriquez. We are green and we are away here at Thruxton for feature race 1. As the leading two drivers already settling down, so the leading three, side by side from Neil and Jabrat, 4th and 5th overall. As they come up towards turn number 1, are we going to remain clean? It's 4 wide. Downey is sideways. He's back front again. He pushes through and he's around. Riley Downey, championship contender, is around on the opening lap of the race. And that was almost to be expected. He pushed it hard. It was 4 wide. It was never going to play out. As we are now looking at fight. This is Matt Neal falling behind Bradbury. Cod here, just ahead. Oh, a swerve across. Almost collected by Cook. Cook's trying to get in there. Side by side, Bradbury and Cod. Bradbury on the inside. That is Neil now on the outside, Cook on the inside. Neil in the blue and purple machine. Cod side by side with Bradbury. Cod in the white machine on the inside. They are side by side. There's sight contact. Bradbury wobbles. They let themselves settle in to a 3 wide move. But 4 wide. We are 4 wide up to the chicane. Here at Thruxton. Cod backs out of it, sensibly slow, but he is still side by side with Bradbury. Bradbury down to 10th, but that was 4 wide. Some brilliant fights going on. Here's another one. Timothy Rosenfeld is in the middle of a very 3 wide fight there. You've got Joshua Lloyd just up ahead in front of him. Ian Lane and Luis Enriquez side by side behind. Enriquez up the inside of Lane. Lane has run off at this corner many times this weekend so far. He stays on this time. As it looked like Enriquez had to lift off to give Lane space, and it's given Lane the speed as well. As they get into the chicane, it looks like Timothy Roosevelt cuts the corner. He's going to get a major slowdown from that one. Or are we going to see them working together? No, we're going to see Hurd look up the inside of Fox into the chicane. No contact, both of them push hard. But they keep it just about on inside of the limits to not get a slowdown. As now Bradbury goes side by side with Neil. He's going to be stuck on the outside under the braking zone here. Is Cod going to try and take advantage? It can't do anything. Bradbury gets through as the corner switches back. It turns back again. Is Matt Neal going to have a good exit here? But there's nothing doing just at the moment. And what has just happened? Matt Neal He swerves to the right of Bradbury. And Bradbury and Neil come together. A lot of positions. He didn't lose too many class positions. There were a lot of overall positions that were lost. As they go side by side now, Matt Neal gets past Joshua Lloyd and will hold third in class. Riley Downey just behind in D2 as it is an overtake attempt there for Harry Fox. He couldn't get past Hurd. And here comes Gibrat. Gibrat up the inside of Harry Fox. Down for the moment. This one does not. It's Henriquez leading Lane and Malone. Lane gets past Malone. Is Malone going to go for the exit here? He's got Matt Neal just behind him, and we know how much Neal is pushing after going off before. There's nowhere to really go into that corner. But Lane's onto the grass, comes back on. Malone has to swing to the right. They're going to run side by side up to the chicane here. Malone's got the overlap. Can he hold that position? He certainly does. Can he keep it slowed down in time? Not going to slow down. He certainly does. Is Matt Malone going to move to the right and get involved? No, he's pushing Anders Hagland. Is he going to be able to close the door on Henriquez? No, he isn't. Henriquez has got that inside. Henriquez can't quite do it on Hagland yet. Malone, where's he going to go? This time he's pushing Henriquez. He stops pushing. Following Hagland now, going for the better line. Anders Hagland sticks at the outside. He's going to lose those positions to the D1 drivers. That's going to open the door for Matt Neal to get involved and try to get into second in class. Side by side from Henriquez and Malone. It's 3 wide behind. Into the chicane, there's contact. Anders Hagland and Matt Neal. Neal back onto the circuit in front of Riley Downey and Timothy Rosenfeld. Feature 1 for him. Fight up ahead. It's Gould side by side with Nagel. Nagel's going to try and get the inside line. They push it hard. They leave each other more than enough room. It is inviting Peter McIntyre into this fight. And for a second lap in a row, we go 3 wide into the chicane. No. Gould backs out. He's side by side with McIntyre. There's contact. Gould and McIntyre around. They both tried to back out. A slide from Fox. He went for the later break. It hasn't played out. Here comes Gibrat onto the white flag lap. If that was white flag, Gibrat would have taken third. Gibrat takes third, solidifies third. Flashing lights from Fox up towards one of 2 braking zones on this circuit. Different racing lines. Fox has got the inside of Gibrat. It will turn to the outside of Gibrat, turn to the inside. Who can carry more speed here? It is Gibrat who can carry more speed. He holds on to third, ahead of Harry Fox. What is going to happen here? Fox moves to the outside of Gibrat. It's a fight for the podium. Vukovic will win feature race 1 as there's contact. Fox goes wide. Vukovic wins feature race 1. Hurd takes second. Gibrat takes third. Milan Vukovic wins once again ahead of Stephen Hurd. And it's Cedric Gibrat who took the final podium spot with that last lap fight. Harry Fox took 4th ahead of Jared Swaim, who won Division 2. Matty Quidlin was behind, followed by John Cook, Thomas Batchelor, Mark Codd and Conrad Bradbury. In 11th position was Lewis Henriquez, followed by Matt Gwilym and Matt Malone. Ian Lane in 14th overall, and Joshua Lloyd and Jurgen Nagel took the final podium spots in Division 2. Anders Hagland came behind that, followed by Sean Sims, Joshua Edwards and Riley Downey. It was Zach Gould, Peter McIntyre and Edward Ayala who all finished outside the top 20. And after those 3 cars all getting caught up with issues, Rosenfeld, Neil and Edgar. Top 20 invert here. So Downey will start from pole ahead of Edwards. Then we've got Sims ahead of Hagland, Nagel and Lloyd. Then we've got Lane, Malone, Gwilym, Henriquez, Bradbury and Codd. Batchelor, Cook, Cridland, Spain, Fox, Gibrat, Hurd and Vukovic all in that invert. Not in the invert then, and rounding out the left field we've got Gould, McIntyre, Ayala, Rosenfeld, Neil and Edgar. We are green and away for the final time today. A great launch from all drivers there. Nobody slow off of the line. Downey will be hoping to keep it clean out front. Stay away from any incidents that might occur behind him. He was caught up in a few, of course, in feature race 1, and there's already issues into the first braking point. A number of cars off the circuit, as they're 4, 5 cars wide in the back. They're settling themselves down already, but that's what Downey was hoping to avoid, and he has. Look at this as he comes through the far section of circuit where it's almost impossible to run more than 2 wide, and they're trying to go 3, even 4 wide. There's contact sideways. More cars sideways, and around goes Vukovic. Milan Vukovic is back on. Rosenfeld already out of the race. 5th in class. He needs to get all the way to the front, and his fielders around. Goes Cedric Gibrat at the chicane. He won Division 1, the inverted grid at Monza. Can he do the same today? Around goes John Cook, contact, Sean Sims and Richard Edgar. Edgar with major damage. Trying to get a recovery now. Malone has got past Nagel. Here comes Ian Lane to the inside of Malone. And he can't quite do it to that corner, but we are going 2 by 2. Here comes Luis Henriquez. He's going to try and make it 3 wide. Ian Lane has to back out of his move past Malone here. How's this going to run up towards the chicane? Malone tucks to the inside. And Ian Lane forgets the track layout. He is going to... Someone get that man a map. He needs it. This is the fight right now between Nagel and Gwilym. Behind is Swaim and Fox. Neither of them fighting for class position. It's just for overall positions. Side by side with Swaim. Swaim's got the inside. Fox can't do it on the outside there. As then is also Henriquez. Malone pushes Hagland. It hasn't worked out. Henriquez pushes Edwards. He gets ahead of Malone. Up towards a breaking point. How's this going to play out? As off the track is Batchelor. He's into the wall. We hear him. There he is. Hopefully minimal damage, but Batchelor now down the order. Henriquez and Edwards side by side. Edwards got the inside. Henriquez runs the wider line. Is Hagland going to get back in play here? Edwards onto the grass. Here comes Henriquez. That was Matt Gwilym onto the grass, even more so behind. Matt Malone looks to the inside of Hagland. Doesn't want to make it 3 wide, but it's 3 wide already for him. It all settles down. Bradbury can't do anything with it, but it has slowed Malone down now. He's got Edwards on his outside. Malone and Edwards here. Can they get through the chicane without contact? They certainly can, give each other just enough room. And here comes Harry Fox from nowhere. And Fox moves into 2nd in class. There's Jared Swaim. It's a gaggle, a huge gaggle of cars up towards the first braking zone. Malone stays ahead of Swaim. But, I thought there was about to be contact. There's not. But different racing lines being played. Bradbury trying to keep it ahead of Swain, he can't, and there's contact. That was Edwards, who was sideways. He's moved immediately straight again. Through goes Jurgen Nagel and Matty Cridland. Slowing him down, certainly not an issue. Gwilym gets back into 10th overall. But here comes Matt Neal, contact with Gwilym. A dive up the inside. And makes it through, but look at this behind. A huge collection of cars, and we could go 4 wide. We're 4 wide, up to the chicane. How's this one going to play out? It moves down to 3 wide. No one backing out of it, but Matt Gwilym goes into the wall. 3, 4, 5 cars. The gap between the overall lead and the D1 lead is closed down to 1.7 seconds now, with Downey out front. As that was Hurd and Bradbury both up the inside of Malone. Malone touches the glass, hopefully it doesn't unsettle him. We'll have to try and get the speed on the exit, and that's certainly what he does. He switches to the right. That would have been a great move on the last lap. It's still a great move this lap. He moves back past Jared Swain now to 7th overall, 5th in class, but Swain is not done yet. He comes back at it, up the inside into turn 3. Malone gives him no room, slides into the turn, cuts him off, holds that position. Swain going for a slightly tighter line, running over the curbing, no slowdown there, but great exit speed. They're side by side. Malone gets the inside. Can he get just enough speed to be able to cut back across? No. He swerves extremely far out to try and get the speed on the exit and the run up towards the chicane. So Hagland backs out, lets that be, as through the inside Bradbury looks here. As we're already over halfway through the race. I didn't even look at the time, it's just been flying by. But Bradbury gets past Hadland. As we continue to watch this fight, Downey is going to be hoping they continue fighting behind so he can just swoop away again. He had quite a big lead before. It has closed down, but it's side by side. Henriquez and Fox. Fox holds it on the outside. There's contact. Henriquez has to concede that position. Who is going to get the next biggest mover award? But here comes Hagland fighting back with Jared Swain. Off the track behind is Cridland. Bradbury ran off slightly ahead as well. Is this going to be to the detriment of Swain? Fox moves to the inside of Downey. Downey gives him the room, but keeps the overlap. Pushes through it and fights Henriquez back in. Side by side with Fox. Here comes Stephen Hurd. It's a 3-way fight for the lead in D1. They wobble. Some contact between Fox and Henriquez. A big wobble from Fox. Henriquez has got through, but now is Fox's inside once more. Once again they touch. Fox holds that position. Downey gets some breathing room. And here comes Stephen Hurd on the inside of Henriquez. This fight for the win in Division 1. Can Fox try and make an overtaking opportunity again? Slightly on the grass by Downey. It won't slow him down here, but Fox has got that inside line once more. We saw last lap how Downey's able to hold the speed on the outside. He does so again, but this time on the switch across, Fox has done it. Hurd is through. Riley Downey falls down to 3rd. Hurd has got the overlap. He's got the speed. Fox backs out, trying to get it on the exit. But here comes Riley Downey and Luis Henriquez. Are they going to go 3 wide into the chicane? No. They go 2 by 2. Hurd goes through in the lead. They settle it down. Fox is through in 2nd. Henriquez now up to 3rd. Riley down in 4th. Riley Downey to the penultimate lap of this race here in feature race 2. Stephen Hurd goes slightly wide. Harry Fox dives up the inside. They remain side by side. They touch. Fox will get the inside line, but Hurd has got speed on the outside. Here comes Luis Henriquez. This is the fight for the win. Hurd holds on. There's contact. Fox on a wider line. He's going to get the inside line, But Hurd has the overlap and can close the door. But it's not going to be enough for him. Is Downey going to go for third overall? No, he is pushing Henriquez. He's not getting involved in that fight. He has every right to, but he's not going to. Hurd and Fox, as off the track goes Henriquez. That's going to be a slowdown that he has to serve. Hurd wins the race. Fox takes second. I believe Henriquez served that penalty just in time. Stephen Hurd wins that one ahead of Harry Fox. Riley Downey took home the win in the Division 2 category. Conrad Bradbury taking the final podium spot in Division 1. Jared Same took second in class ahead of Matt Malone, Matty Quidland, Milan Vukovic. Just saying, great recovery from Vukovic and Jabrat, 8th and 9th overall. That's 6th and 7th in class for those two. Amazing result after they were both around on the opening lap. And Anders Hagland takes a final podium spot in Division 2. All three of them championship contenders. Then it was Matt Neal in 11th in the end ahead of Mark Cobb. Peter McIntyre took 13th out of Cook. Then it was Gould and Lloyd that we saw that fight coming across the line. Then it was Sean Sims and Edward Ayala. A lap down was Luis Henriquez and Jürgen Nagel. 2 laps down was Richard Edgar, and out of the race was Thomas Batchelor, Matt Gwilym, Joshua Edwards, Ian Lane and Timothy Rosenville. Both of those two out extremely early doors. So until next week, I hope you have a fantastic time, and we will see you at round number 9 at Nürburgring. Until then, goodbye.